Hello and welcome to Big Orbit Games unboxing video of the new Future Card Buddyfight trial deck D-TD01 Dragon Emperor of the Colossal Ocean. My name is Simon and I'll be doing the unboxing today. So I am no major expert on Buddyfight. What I'm going to do is open the trial deck up, just explain a bit to you and just show you the cards you're getting in there. So if you're new to the game and just curious, this is should be the video for you. So let's open her up and have a look what we get inside. So this is the first official trial deck for the new for the Triple D. So since they moved away from the 100 Demon series, we've had the start decks before, but this is the new trial deck. So you get in here a life counter. So this is useful for keeping track of your life total, which you'll find very useful. It's double-sided, so you just flip it round to get to your starting 10. I'll see you as your life increases and decreases, track it on there. You also get in here a playmat. This is useful if you are brand new and learning how to play the game. It shows you where everything goes, because positioning is important in the game. So you put your flag and buddy down here, and then items go on top of your flag. And then you have a monster on your left, right and center. Place your gauge here, and then you've got your drop zone and deck here. And then at the bottom in the left, you've just got a reminder of the turn progress. And then on the back you've got a brief explanation of what the trial deck does and how it works, point out what the key cards are to you and how to play through it, and build an impregnable center. And then just an advert for the animation, which you can watch online if you're curious about the anime for this. And then you've got a rules guide, which starts with a little comic about how to play, which is quite cute to read. And then you've got more in-depth rules on how to actually play the game in there, and then a little question section at the end, which no doubt you'll have a few questions, so make sure you flip to the Q&A to difficult situations. And then also make sure you read it from this side as it tells you. So, onto the extra deck itself. So you get a nice big shiny at the front. This is Colossal Ocean Chief Jewel Jaeger. So this is your title card, your big boss of the set. His artwork's all over the box and everything. So it's a size 3 monster, 6,000 power, 8,000 defense and 3 critical. So he has a cool cost, so this is what you need to pay to play him, which is to pay 2 gauge and put up to 1 Dragon Chief Emperor from your drop zone to this card's soul. So Dragon Chief Emperor is one of the attributes, and as you can see here, he is a Dragon Chief Emperor himself. And it does say up to 1. So if you don't have any in the drop zone, you can still play him. However, you'll be missing out on one of his abilities. So he has 2 abilities in total here. So he has Penetrate. So when he attacks and if he destroys an opponent's monster in the center, he deals his damage to the opponent. So normally the opponent's monster would just soak it all up. However, his critical damage gets to go through. And he has Soul Guard. So what Soul Guard does is when it would be destroyed, instead you remove a card from its soul and it gets to stay on the field. So that's why his calling ability is quite useful, because it puts something straight into the soul for him. So you get a nice one foily version of him there. I'll come back to him later. Next up, you have a size 3 Great Ocean Deity Jewel Jaeger. I'm going to muck up this name. Caesarian. So my apologies if I'm messing up pronunciations of names. If you watch my videos, I'm terrible with them. So 6,000 power, 10,000 defense this time. However, just that trade-off means he gets 2 critical rather than the 3 from the previous guy. Cool cost is to pay 2 gauge and put this card on top of a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor monster without cards in its soul, and put the top card of your deck into its soul. So it's going to effectively have 2 cards into its soul, and you could play this on top of Mr. Colossal Ocean here. Especially if your opponent has already tried to destroy him and he's lost his soul guard, or if you've played him without using the Cool Cost's ability to put into the soul. And then he has, when he enters the field, destroy a monster on your opponent's field. This is very useful for clearing the way for you to get some nice swinging attacks through, which is useful because he doesn't have Penetrate. However, he does have double attack. So the first time he attacks each turn, he stands and can attack again. So even though he's only got critical 2, you could actually do 4 damage to your opponent. He also has Soul Guard as before, but this time you should have 2 cards in the soul, so twice as much additional protection. And Lifelink 2. So Lifelink 2 means that when he is destroyed, you lose 2 life. So be careful with him. Make sure you use him as like a big finishing piece, because you don't want him dying on you, really. And again, you get one nice foily version there in the trial deck. You then also get 3 standard versions of him as well. Then we move back to Colossal Ocean Chief. Like I said, because he's the title card, he appears on the front, but you do get 3 normal versions in there as well. This is already looking like quite a few size 3 monsters for a Buddyfight deck, because size 3 takes up your whole field to be able to play. You can only play zeros after that. But we'll go through the deck and you'll see why. So we have another size 3 monster, Iron Fist Chief Strong Go. 5,000 power, 7,000 defense, and 3 critical. Cool cost is to pay a gauge and put the top card of your deck into its soul, and it has Soul Guard. So again, it generates its own Soul Guard there to help it stay alive. No penetrate or double attack or any other flashy abilities, so it's a slightly weaker version of these guys, but it's still valid. He's still size 3, still 3 critical, etc. So, and he's also a Dragon Chief Emperor, which is useful. So we get 1 foily of those. Sorry, I should just say foil, not foily. And then 3 normal. So you've got full play sets of all of these size 3 monsters. We're now on to a size 2. So Chief of Armors Under the Ken. So size 2, 4,000 power, 6,000 defense, 2 critical. Counter. So act, put this card from your hand into the soul of a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor monster on your field. Counters can be played in your opponent's turn, and effectively what you're doing is generating Soul Guard. So your opponent thinks, yeah, I've already tried to destroy it once, I've removed the size 3's Soul Guard, I can now attack it and destroy it. And then you can sneak him out from your hand and be like, haha, he has Soul Guard. And then he also has Lifelink 1, so when he leaves the field you take damage equal to the Lifelink amount. However, that will only be relevant if you've actually played him onto the field as a normal size 2. You get 2 of those. We then have Ice Dragon Emperor Glakees. So size 2, 4,000 power, 3,000 defense, but 3 critical. So he's not very strong against monsters, but good at punching your opponent. And he has counter, act, freeze shot. During an attack on your opponent's turn, if you have a size 3 monster on the field, you may discard the card from hand and pay a life to nullify the attack. And the Lifelink 1 as well. So this ability is usually what you'd see on a nullifying spell, like a shield spell, to stop your opponent's attack. However, this is built into the body of a monster instead. So it's quite a cool, neat little thing. It's effectively doubling your spell capacity without having to rely on just having spells. You can still play them onto the field if you need something, if you need a body down. So you get 3 of those. Another size 2, so this is Chief of Wind Messenger Jin, 3,000 power, 3,000 defense, and 3 crit. When he enters your field, put up to 1 size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor from your drop zone into your hand. So useful for recurring your guys if they have been killed off or if you've had to drop them for any reason. Just allows you to get them back into hand so you can play them that turn, hopefully. And we get 2 of those. We then have Underling Knuckler Dan, so we're on to the size 1 monsters now, so 2,000 power, 4,000 defense, and crit 2. His ability, if you have an originally size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor on your field, reduce the size of this card by 1. So this is useful because it then becomes the size 0, which means it can live on the field along with the size 3, because you're capped at size 3 in total on the field. So you can have 3 1s, a 2 and a 1, or a 3. But as many zeros as you can fit on the field. So you can have your big size 3 in the centre and then a 0 on either flank. And then he has Lifelink 1. So you do have to be careful playing these down. Again, you probably want to play this down as like a finishing thing to get those 2 crit damage in. And we get 3 of those. We now have Apprentice Underling Rukiichi. So size 0, 1,000 power, 4,000 defense, and 1 crit. No ability on this guy, just a vanilla creature. Just a good monster to throw down onto the field to fill out. And again, similar role, I imagine, as the previous one, just using for nipping away at your opponent's life total. And you get 3 of those. Then we're on to the spells. So you can play these during your main phase. This one, Dragon Within the Ocean, is cast cost, pay a gauge, and pay 1 life. To search your deck for a size up to 1 size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor, put it into your hand, shuffle, but you can only do this once per turn, so even if you have multiple copies of the spell, you can't keep playing them. And again, this just sets you up for playing the Colossal Oceans, etc. And you get 2 of those. Dragon Emperor Legend, another spell. Put the top card of your deck into your gauge, you gain a life and draw a card. You can only play this once per turn, and the gaining life and drawing a card is very, very useful. As you can see from the previous cards, you're paying a lot of life out to activate abilities and core costs, so even gaining 1 life back at a time is very useful and might be what you need to keep yourself from being killed. You can get 2 of those. We have Dragon Dreams, with probably my favourite artwork in the whole trial deck, and probably one of the best abilities. You gain 3 life. Nice and simple, nothing much to it. You don't have to pay for it. There's no gauge paying or anything like that. It's just 3 life. I really like that spell. Because of how much life you're spending for your abilities, it's good to be able to keep yourself alive. And you get 2 of those. Dragon Thunder, another spell. And this one is a counter, destroy a monster on the field with 2,000 or less power or defense. So it's only good at nipping off like levels, size zeros, etc. But it could be what you need just to, you know, clear the way or stop your opponent from activating any of their combos or abilities. I'm looking at you, Dungeon World, I believe, with that one. That's 2 of those. We have Rise and Fall of Dragons, the spell. So this one has a cast cost, which is 2 life. As I said, lots of life loss in this for casting. Counter, put the top 4 cards of your deck into your gauge. You may only cast this once per turn. So good for refilling your gauge. It's kind of similar to Hyper Energy from Hero World, but with a bit of a cost on top of it. I'm not sure the gauge is hugely needed in this, but it could be what you need to be able to get your big guys out if you don't have enough gauge left to do it. You get 2 of those. Ocean Emperor style, Whirlpool Seal. Another spell. Cast cost is to pay a gauge and a life. Counter, rest a monster on your opponent's field. This is useful for stopping your opponent from getting a big attack off. They might have something with Soul Guard, etc., so it can't be killed, but if you just rest it, then, well, your opponent can't declare an attack. So, so 2 of those. Strength of 1,000 Dragons. So counter, choose a Dragon Chief Emperor monster in battle, and for this battle it gains plus 3,000 power and defense and counterattack. So what counterattack means is that if it survives, it actually gets to attack back to the monster that attacked it. So yeah, it's a useful spell, really good for keeping your monster alive in battle. It's a good little combat trick, and especially it does only target the Dragon Chief Emperor, so again it's only size 3 that it's really going to help. But you do get 3 of those in there. Trying a Dragon's Best. Another spell. You can only cast this card during an attack on your opponent's turn, and if you have 5 life or more, you have to pay a life to play it. Counter, nullify the attack and put the top card of your deck into the gauge. Charging your gauge is really nice benefit on top of being able to null your opponent's attack, and especially because the nullifying doesn't have any criteria, like it can't be linked, etc. So yeah, that's really nice. Trying a Dragon's Best. Shame you have to pay the life for it, but that's you do have the gain 3 life spell in there for a reason, and you get 4 of those. We now have an item, Ocean Bay's Anchor Ripple. So this item, like I said at the start, goes on top of your flag, and then you yourself as a player can attack. You have 3,000 defense, but 2 critical, so it's no good at attacking your opponent's monsters. But to play it, you have to pay a gauge and pay a life, more life paying. But you can attack even if there's a monster in your center. So normally if you have a monster in your center, it goes in front of your flag and in front of your item. So it means you can't attack through it. So you're gaining defense but losing your offense. However, this does allow you to. So use your big size 3 in the middle, clear the way, swing through with the anchor as well. Throw an anchor at your opponent. What's not to love? And you get 4 of those. And then we're on to the impact. So this is the Big Catch Kaigan Ocean Cleaving Twin Dragon Wave. So this impact is you can only cast it if your opponent has 3 life or less and you have a size 3 monster on your center. So the size 3 shouldn't be difficult, and the amount of life you're paying out for spells and stuff at 3 life shouldn't be too difficult to achieve either. You have to pay 2 gauge and you deal 3 damage to your opponent. Oh, sorry, I'm talking about having 3 life or less. Your opponent must have 3 life or less, sorry. So basically this impact is just a finishing move, because your opponent has to have 3 life or less and it deals 3 damage. So as long as your opponent doesn't have any sneaky counters in some way, you can finish them off using this impact. And you get 3 of those in there. And finally you have your flag. This is what allows you to actually play the Ancient World cards and generic cards in your deck. So you have to have your flag, it has to go out in front of you. And you also then get to pick one of these monsters to be your buddy, which I suggest one of the size 3, seeing as that's what you're predominantly going to want to be playing. And when you play a buddy, you gain a life. So yeah, that's everything you get in the trial deck. Overall, I think it's quite an interesting deck because it focuses so heavily on playing the size 3. It's not quite a combo deck, but it almost is. And it certainly makes for a different play style from a lot of the other trial decks, which just just tend to be quite simple, straightforward beat sticks, whereas this is a bit more tricky because you've got to work on the size 3, which does leave yourself and your field a bit open, so you have to be a bit more careful on the defense. So it's quite an aggro heavy deck for that regards, because you've got one big monster you want to be attacking with. But because they've got like double attack and penetrate, those attacks are so worthwhile because you can break through your opponent's center and score some really good hits on them. So overall, I really like the deck. It's from my experience, there's a bit of a departure from what Ancient World would normally have. So, and it's good to see Ancient World getting some more support and more exposure through something like this. It's also very spell heavy, which is interesting to see. So I really like the trial deck. I think it's a really good fresh start for the new Triple D series trial decks, and I'm hoping future trial decks they make will be just as, or if not more, interesting than this one. So there you go. So if you've got any questions or would like to know anything else about the trial deck or anything else, feel free to ask below in the comments. Apart from that, remember, everything you've seen here today can be bought and sold on our website as individual cards on bigorbitcards.co.uk. Remember to like and subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.